Limebourne and Battersea. Limebourne and Cityrama both operated from Battersea and were linked at one time. As far as we are concerned, Cityrama had operated the 196 and 200. Although rebuilt and expanded, it's a site used today by Transport UK. In 1996, it was Limebourne that awarded the C10 starting the 15th of June. 6 Optare MetroRider were required to operate it, N201 to 206 MWW. In 1997, the 42 was taken over from the 19th of April, this time using 8 single-doored 10-metre Dart SLF with pointer 1 bodies, P301 to 308 HDP. As part of the new contract, it is extended to Denmark Hill, as well as being rerouted via Thurlow Street and East Street. This was followed by the 156 from the 13th of September. A further 9 Dart SLFs were added, R309 to 315, 317 and 319 NGM. Staff shortages saw that C3 subcontracted to Limebourne from the 25th of October. London General transferred 6 Marshall Minibuses to operate it, ML1 to 6, P501 to 506 HEG. These had Limebourne fleet names added. In 1998, the parent company of Limebourne, Q-Drive, was placed into administration in October, and I'm not sure if this is the 20th or the 22nd. The 42, 156, C3 and C10 continue to operate. The manager set up a company called Independent Way to buy Limebourne Travel. This took place on the 20th of November. However, the buses were leased and were repossessed over the 19th to 20th of November, leaving Darts 301, 309, 310, 311 and 312, plus the London Central ML6 to ML1 to 6. The 156 was suspended with LRT taking responsibility for sourcing buses. Metrobus, Metroline, Nostalgia Bus, London General and Stagecoach Selkent contributed buses at various times. No fares were charged from the 20th to the 25th of November, and on certain days there's no service after 1900 hours. With the loss of the 210 to Thorpes, Arriva are able to loan Volvo B10M 912 to 917, 919, 920 to 923 and 925. These still carried grey-green livery. The remaining 5 Dart SLFs were repossessed during the 25th of November. Ex-WMPTE Metrobus GOG T230W was hired from London Traveller and was used on the 42 from the 26th to 28th November. 11 8.5 metre darts with what we all call Carlisle bodywork were purchased from Metroline. DT 89, 93, 124 to 126, 134, 136, 141, 142, 156 and 157. The first ones entering service on the 29th of November. Limebourne took back operation of all routes on the 2nd of December. Generally the Volvos were allocated to the 42 and 156 and the ML1 to 6 and Darts to C3 and Darts to C10. In 1999, the first of 17 10.7 metre Dart SLFs with Caetano Compass bodywork started to be delivered, registered T401 to 404, 406 to 411, 413 to 419 LGP. The first ones entering service on the 10th of March. However, the Volvos had already started to be transferred to Arriva Scotland West, Clydeside. So from the 2nd of March, Arriva replaced 912, 913, 915, 916, 917 and 921 with Metrobuses M549, 612, 631, 632, 776 and 1134. At first they worked the 42. Once blinds were fitted, they switched to the 156. By the 27th of March, only Volvos 918 and 919 were left. The last ML had been returned by the end of April. M120, 188, 237, 279, 476 and 477 were purchased from London General. The double-deck school journey on the 156 was taken over by Limebourne the 29th of April. Back then these journeys were usually on a separate contract with a different operator. I think it was Nostalgia Bus. Limebourne awarded the 344 starting the 29th of May. Another 17 Dart SLFs were awarded, but until these arrived, the existing ones were switched to the 344. Olympians L48, 60, 69, 70 and 80 were hired from Selkent, and M34 and M17, 73 from White Rose Group for the 156. The first of the second batch of darts arrived in June. All the hired buses and the last Volvo 918 were returned in August, with M73 being acquired by Limebourne. The darts are registered T421 to 433 LGP. The last four arrived after the 1st September, so registered as V434 to 437 KGF. 437 was the last one entering service on the 12th of October. Arriva then subcontracted the operation of the G1 to Limebourne. This was done in two stages. The first part on the 7th of August saw the transfer of darts DR20 to 22, 27 and DT 62 and 70, followed by DR23 to 26 along with DT 68 on the 28th of August. Nothing of significance happened in 2000. In 2001, the contract for the C10 was surrendered from the 7th of April. It was taken over by a Blue Triangle on a temporary basis whilst it went through the tendering process again. On the 7th of July, the TF operations of Independent Way, trading as Limebourne, were acquired by Connex Bus UK Limited. Independent Way retained some of the Metro buses and all of the ex-Metroline darts, which were transferred to Excalibur Co Limited, which shared the same site. The contract for the G1 was annovated to Connex from the 15th September, still using the Arriva darts until new 8.8 metre Dart SLFs entered service in early January 2002. And the source is various lots newsletters, and I'll post this in a description below the video. Now, I've done something slightly different with Flickr. Because there's a lot of activity with the hired buses, etc., what I've done is I've put in links for the routes. So Limebourne route 42, and hopefully you'll get a page looking like this, which will show all the various buses used on the 42, with a couple of oddities. I assume these are aftermarket operations after they left Limebourne, but obviously you can see the grey-green bus there. I assume this is R309, so it's one of the buses after it left Limebourne, one of the darts after it left Limebourne. And then again, the same with the 156. So you've got a Selkent Olympian here, and Metro buses are plenty. And the 344 is here. Again, obviously things that don't quite fit. You've got an Olympian on the 156 and a photograph of the 211, but it generally gives you, I think it gives you a better spread of images to look at. The C3, so obviously you've got plenty of pictures of the Marshall Minibus and the 211 for some reason, but again, you know, because of the text, hopefully you'll get an idea of what you're looking at. The C10 with images of the Optare MetroRider and a couple of again off-grid images of the C10 in later years. You can see the Metroline liveried darts here. And finally the G1. And luckily this image shows one of the Arriva darts with a Limebourne fleet name on it. So I'll put links to all of these in the description below the video, and then you can peruse them for yourself along with the text, and that's a brief history of Limebourne.